One of the best things my dad did is the following. I went to my dad one day. I said, Dad, I'm $49,000 in debt. I need you to bail me out. Okay? I said, you're my father. You love me. You're my hero. I need you to bail me out. He sat me and he says, you're going to learn the best lesson from me today, buddy. I said, what's that? I'm not going to bail you out. I said, but I'm your son. I'm not going to bail you out. I know you can figure out a way to get out of this. I think you're going to pull it off. This is a man who's a 99-cent store cashier who dropped out of school in 8th grade. His son almost followed in his footsteps, but I took 4 more years, okay? But he dropped out in 8th grade just to start working. Regular guy, okay? For 1 week, I don't talk to my dad. I go around telling everybody, your dad this and your dad this and your dad this. My dad bailed me out. I can't believe your dad didn't. And I'm just bitching about my dad. You know what I did? I came back and I said, I'm going to pay this freaking money off. And I did, okay? Eventually paid it off. My credit went from 484, 495, 499 to a nice credit score, right? But my dad was not afraid of his son failing. Now, if I would have failed, could I have gone and retaliated against him and started doing drugs and doing stupid shit to hurt him? Of course. That's the risk a parent has to take. And that's the risk a nation has to take. Some of these companies may go out of business and it may hurt for a year or two, but we got to go through it. We got to stick through it and go through it. And I don't think politicians are allowing that to happen because the people that are supporting their campaigns protect them and own them. And that's what I don't like about American politics. The lobbyists who Paul Manafort sat in your chair just 2.5 months ago, there are so many of them out there that have bought these politicians, and it's screwing up low and middle income families, unfortunately.
I have to say, it's so spiritual what you're saying. Like, our whole religion is based on the same principle, which is that, like, if you don't have the option of failure, if you don't have the option of sin, then you also don't have the option of redemption, and nothing means anything.
Yep.
And I think that is actually a value that the American working class is deeply attached to, which is the idea of autonomy. Like, I want the fruits of my labor. I don't want a handout. I want the right to fail, because without the right to fail, you don't have the right to succeed. I mean, that's
Can I just read the quick definition of quantitative easing just to kind of build your case a little bit? And I'm going to process how I see it, and you tell me if I'm understanding this correctly. So QE, quantitative easing, is a monetary policy strategy used by central banks like the Fed. With QE, a central bank purchases securities. This is half of it. Purchases securities in an attempt to reduce interest rates, increase the supply of money, and drive more. And here's the key word: and drive more lending to consumers and businesses. Like Pat said, oh, your credit card's 5. Your credit card limit is 5. Let's bump it up to 15. So this is kind of the inflation thing: is they just increase the credit limit, increase the lending. What's lending? It's just taking on more debt.
Borrowing. Yeah, you're borrowing.
Hey, take on more debt.
Right.
But you're not making any more money. You'll figure it out. Just borrow more money. But I'm not. My business actually isn't profitable. We'll bail you out. We'll keep you afloat. And that's essentially what you're saying: is they're just increasing the credit limit, spend. But it doesn't seem like there's justification based on your income. That's how I'm processing what you're saying with the increasing the credit limit.
Yeah.
Yeah, listen, failing sucks. It's emotional, it's painful, it's embarrassing, it's publicly humiliating. In Hollywood, how many, I saw a movie the other day with Nicolas Cage, a new movie that came out. You know what the movie is about? It's about the character in the movie called Nick Cage.
Oh, really?
Who's the greatest actor in the world.
Oh, God.
Who no longer is that
Was it good?
needed to
Was
be
it
in a
good?
movie. I think it's worth watching.
Okay.
But the whole story is about him.
Wow.
Like, it's a movie. He's acting himself, but it's like when they no longer want you to be in a movie.
Yeah.
Do you know how hard that is as an actor, where you go from being Nicolas freaking Cage to Nick Cage?
Yeah.
Hey, what's up, Nick?
How you doing, Nick?
He ain't no Nick.
Yeah.
This guy at
Nicolas
one
Cage.
point owned the...
He won an Oscar. He's a freaking...
But the point is, like, how hard is it when you do one bad movie, it flops, and then boom,
that's over.
Waterworld. Remember Waterworld with Kevin Costner? Shit, I mean, they got a nice park in Universal Studios, but that's pretty much it.
And Batya, just to piggyback, because I mean, like, your amazement, especially like with Pat, who's such an amazing guy. Not kissing ass for everybody that's listening to this. So I was in Hollywood. I was in the military. I was in the Air Force.
Thank you so much for your service.
My sister's retiring of 25 years on Friday. My brother was in for 6 years. went to there. I know that God put me here to make people laugh. That's my number one. I know that's what it is. So fail. I'm talking about Hollywood. I've been on Def Comedy Jam. I had a special with Kevin Hart called The Next Level, which I think I have grounds to sue because it's called The Next Level and nothing happened. But anyway, so I got me and Pat connected through Instagram, and now I'm here. And then just off of what you were saying, last week, Pat, you had like a PHP thing at the other office. So he had like, 30, 40 people. I walk in because we want to show the sketch that we did on the video, and I'm hanging out. Pat's up there. He's sitting on the table. He's doing a speech where you were comparing, Pat, greed and fear. And he made a chart with so much shit on it, I almost had a heart attack. I almost threw up. But I just sat there and listened to him for 20 minutes. I almost quit comedy and sat down and started selling fucking insurance.
We can't do that.
I almost started selling insurance because it was like, and again, reading and getting all that knowledge, you fed your brain so much. It's like you could talk to them about anything, and it's like a lesson learned.
Can I add just one metaphor that I think everyone will understand here, because we all know who the person I'm going to talk about is, but it's the freedom to fail. We all know the story of Michael Jordan. In 10th grade, he tried out for the varsity basketball team, and what happened? He got cut. Yeah. So to use your...
What?
Oh, yeah.
You don't know the story about Michael Jordan?
No.
Yeah.
Batya.
I don't know anything about sports ball.
Jesus
It's
Christ.
all
Good,
don't start.
Michael
Bringing
Jordan, the
up
greatest
sports.
basketball player, potentially the greatest athlete of all time. The story goes in Wilmington, North Carolina, he tries out for the basketball team, 10th grade, gets cut. Okay?
Wow.
So again, with the freedom to fail.
And he's very good, right?
Yeah, Michael Jordan turned out to be pretty okay. I don't know if you want to check his
One of
resume.
the greatest hockey players of all time.
More goals than anybody. You miss 100% of the shots you don't take, Batya.
Exactly.
But to use the analogy or metaphor, I mean, you're the journalist here. I don't know if it's an analogy or metaphor. Either way, he had to go and improve. So rather than make excuses, the coach didn't like me, or the parent comes and talks to the coach, hey, do my kid, everyone wants a medal these days, but it's a trophy culture, whatever it is that these kids have these days. He had to go get better.
Okay.
And it turned out pretty well for the guy.
Okay, but here's
the
my
freedom
question.
the freedom to
Yes.
fail is what inspired him to actually make the team the following year.
Yes. However, is there not a deep tension between what you guys are saying on the one hand about freedom to fail, taking responsibility, you have the power, you have the ability, and on the other hand, this quantitative easing where if you're really, really rich, the government's going to come in and protect you. Like, on the one hand, I see how it's consistent with what you're saying. On the other hand, to a little guy who he doesn't get bailed out when he defaults on his credit card. He doesn't get bailed out when he can't pay his loans. He gets his house taken away. And I think that is something that, Elizabeth Warren and Donald Trump totally were in agreement about and totally correct, which is that there is a level at which it is rigged on behalf of the people who have already made on behalf of the rich. You're not going to go to jail for white collar crime because it costs too much to prosecute it, But if you jump the turnstile, you're going. I mean, obviously now progressives don't think you should go away for that.
Exactly.
You can kill people and get away with it now, but that there's a level at which this idea of accountability adheres like a gazillion % if you're in the bottom and like 0% if you're at the top.
I agree. I actually agree with you, and I don't appreciate that. I don't appreciate that. I don't appreciate when politicians get in there and the guys at the top can buy them and you prevent them from going out of business. Let them fail. Let them fail. A great philosopher once said, let the boy watch. He needs to say, let them fail.
So if you like this clip and you want to watch another one, click right here. And if you want to watch the entire podcast, click right here.